GM friends. Hopefully you can hear me.
Hey, Jim.
GM. Oh, let's just put the volume up a little bit. How are you doing today, sir?
Doing pretty well. How about you?
I'm doing well. It's a little earlier than usual, but still a great morning.
Yes, yes, sir. It's what is it, 8 a.m. for you? It's at 9?
Yeah, it's 8 a.m. for me, so it's not too bad. I'm
Nice.
usually up by this time anyway. It's just my girlfriend's dog is here with me, a German Shepherd, and he demands walks very early in the morning, so I had to
Yeah.
wake up a little earlier to take care of him.
The ultimate way to get used to waking up early, having a pet or a kid.
Yeah, definitely. Kid, I think is worse because they have just much higher demands.
Yeah. How's the vibe in the States these days? It's pretty
It's it,
sure it's
it's
pretty
a mix.
wild.
Yeah, it's definitely a mix. Some people are very upset, and then other people are elated. Tennessee is a red state, so it's like more people are chill, but a lot of the ladies are not happy. Like I went out election night, and
Yeah.
the bar was just all guys. There were no no women at the bar.
It's funny.
How is it in where you are, China?
The people that pay attention are like, I think, hard to say really. It's China's always very like reluctant to say anything, but I don't know if it's good for the Chinese economy. I don't think it's great. It's probably better for the U.S. economy, but that's why they elected Trump. Uh, it Chinese economy is not great right now anyway, so a bunch of tariffs is probably not going to help. But fewer, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's interesting because I have my normie friends are starting to get FOMO because they're seeing Bitcoin kind of do
Yeah,
what it does post election, and I've been telling them load up your bags, and now they're starting. Like the conversations have opened up in a lot of like fun ways.
sure. I'm sure it's like my takeaway is just now if we can just get regulatory clarity for this industry in the US, like, oh man, the faucets are going to open up for everything. Because it's just, as even as like a founder, Jesse and I talk about this a lot. We're just like, we're not sure what we can and cannot do, and there's always just like things hanging over that we're like, oh, we don't want to risk ourselves or the project by like, doing something too out of the norm. But we know it's like, we know and we see the opportunities out there. And now hopefully if Gensler does get kicked out, that'll be pretty bullish for the industry.
Yeah, 100%. And Thrax, yeah, it usually tariffs do make things more expensive. But what's been interesting, I've seen this in the news, is that a lot of American companies like Steve Madden have said, like, hey, prices might go up because we're going to have to import less from China. So it's like these knock on effects might actually be bullish for like manufacturing in the US.
Yeah, well, that's one reason why they wield the tariff. Part of it is like actually doing a tariff and saying we're going to try and move more of our manufacturing back to the United States because that would give jobs to people. The other is just like, I think what he's probably doing more is just you wield the tariff as a weapon and saying, hey, if you don't fall in the line, we're going to tariff the shit out of your country. And so it generally doesn't get to the point where you actually put the tariff on. It's just a warning.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. There's already all these effects happening. I'm excited for regulatory clarity though, because it will be good just to know. Like, I mean, I'm an American and I'm a director for a DAO.
Yeah,
It would be
exactly.
great to know that I'm not going to get thrown in jail for doing what seems to be like this isn't illicit. We're just we're
Right.
friends on the internet trying to build games. Like, what? Why can't this be just normal?
Yeah, and like the DAO is in it's in, where do we go? It's Cayman, or I've already
Cayman
forgotten.
Islands, yeah.
Yeah, it's Cayman. So I would love to have, like, if we were able to go to like a Wyoming or something and register it there. Why not? That'd be great to, and we're able to have uh like have more Americans on the as directors without worrying about having all 9 directors being American, like and having to balance that. It's just a lot of like different calculus that we have to do. That it would be nice if that was if we were in a more regulatory kind of friendly zone. Wyoming is the only place that has that I know of. It allows you to register DAOs as LLCs. Pretty cool, but still, I don't know if there's a lot of appetite for that yet. Like I haven't seen a ton of big projects doing it, but the option is there. Dude, Wyoming, Thrax, check out like Wyoming is going places. Like their Senator Lummis is like really involved in Bitcoin and there's a ton of mining out there and they're like really involved in bringing their like she's the one that's trying to get the Bitcoin strategic Bitcoin reserve in the US. So she like Senator Lummis is like she was one of the biggest advocates of everything crypto.
Yeah, I've
She's
also
been
heard
out
that
there.
Nevada is pretty pro crypto friendly in terms of DAOs. Because I remember GMI talking
Nice.
about it was either Nevada or Colorado, one of the two has like a good setup for DAO organizations.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's Wyoming in a nutshell, right? Isn't that Jackson Hole? Isn't that Wyoming or is that South Dakota?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like northwest. I've been looking into Wyoming the last couple months more just because it seems like it's not been on my radar at all. But with all the Lummis stuff, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take a look at what's going on in Wyoming. Pretty cool because Cheyenne is like right across the border from Colorado. So you could theoretically like go to Denver pretty often, but live in Wyoming with like better taxes and stuff.
Yeah, regulation. Once we clarity would be beautiful, and I feel like we're at the doorstep of this potential Bitcoin strategic reserve. Like it just
Yeah,
opens
man.
up like bullishness on DeFi because it's not going to be like just maimed by like the administration just trying to like mess it up. So
Yep.
super exciting times ahead.
I mean, the president literally is forking Aave to do his world liberty finance. It's literally an Aave fork, and I'm pretty sure I'm not making this up. They're going to be paying Aave a portion of their like proceeds as tribute for using the fork because Aave is like helping them do it. Pretty sure I'm not mistaken on that. Saw that somewhere in a tweet. That's why kind of Aave is going up because president's about to use it in his platform.
Yeah, see, that would be pretty epic. I like that.
And
I'm
we're
totally
seeing,
well, I have a Aavegotchi, so I'm happy for that. Maybe I'll throw some more Aave inside of it.
yeah, I mean, who knows? Like, there's a path where somehow Trump gets an Aavegotchi because he's chatting with Stanny. It's like one of our Chinese advisors as well. She is doing the Chinese marketing for World Liberty Finance, or was. I don't know if she's still doing it, but we're literally we have multiple 1 degree connections back to World Liberty Finance. Pretty wild to think about.
It's also insane because the EVM head of Magic Eden, which is Metaverse Johnny, I'm friends with him. He like has been in direct contact with Trump because he's helped like facilitate the NFT collections on Polygon. So
Oh,
he
nice.
went to Mar-a-Lago for that dinner event that Frank D. Gods was at, and he got to meet him. So it's
Whoa.
weird like the connections that are exist in this place, and also immaterial. I always thought that the golden hair was the Trump wearable, the hair wearable, younger Trump.
Pretty close. It's pretty close. Hey, we'll pull some strings and start getting the feelers out there. Little Pump will introduce him. We'll get it. We'll get Stanny to introduce him once we're on Geist and things are moving. Let's see if we can get an intro from Stanny to Baron Trump or whoever is doing it, the mastermind. I don't know if it's Eric Trump or whoever is doing their World Liberty Fi. Baron Trump.
Baron Trump pet. Oh God, that pet's like 6'9". It's a huge
Yeah,
pet.
it's bigger than the Gotchi. So I'm feeling good. I'm really excited about the results. I mean, just all other politics aside, speaking from my bags, I'm happy. That's I'm a pretty much a single issue voter on this. Like we know it's good for our bags, so I think most of crypto also voted like that.
Yeah, I mean, my girlfriend's pretty liberal, but like as I sit down and explain to her, like, hey, like as long as you're in a state where your rights are protected, you're all good. But like,
Yeah.
our economy has to be in a better shape because if it's not, then like that's a bigger issue than most of the other issues, in my opinion, at least. So we have to like having, bag go up, inflation go down. That's great. That's all I need.
I was thinking about this, like maybe I'll make it this tweet, but you guys know how uh like Michael Saylor has done his micro strategy where he essentially sells stock to buy more Bitcoin, right? So I was just thinking, it's kind of the America could do the same thing, and I think that's what they're kind of hinting at. We're going to do the Michael Saylor strategy, but instead of selling stock, it's going to be printing money, printing money to buy Bitcoin. They could totally do that.
Yeah, and then we could pay off the debt in 10 years
Yeah,
from now. Bitcoin's like
Bitcoin just
$1 million.
needs to go up more. Bitcoin needs to go up more than the amount of money that they're printing, and then they could pay off the debt with the Bitcoin.
Yeah,
No,
it's
that's right.
crazy.
'Cause it's the other way around. You can't buy Bitcoin to print money. You got to print money to buy Bitcoin, just like Michael Saylor does.
Yeah, he's saying $42 billion of Bitcoin. He wants to buy more. And then I know Microsoft has discussed adding it to its balance
Yeah.
sheet. There's going to be a meeting, I think, in December for their board of directors or, to discuss this, which is very exciting.
One of the states, anyone know which one it was, also just announced that they want to hold like $15 million of Bitcoin for their pensions or something. Like it's happening. Everything from the Bitcoin Standard. If you guys have ever read that book, great book. It's happening. Like the nation states are going public with their plans. We're at that stage in crypto.
That's hey guys, Jesse here.
Hey,
Yeah, it's so cool. I think I shared it on my Twitter feed a long time ago when in Nashville, No Future with the Bitcoin 2024 like conference. I remember Saylor gave a really interesting speech in that I think it was his like he even said he's like this is my most consolidated, concise speech ever on like why Bitcoin, and he went through it like with the company level micro strategy and made exactly this case, and you could tell he's like in government's ears about like strategies for nation states. So very, I know my ears perked up with that. I was like, okay, we're going to the nation state level. As soon as one
yeah.
bites, the others kind of have a very short window to basically print stock to buy Bitcoin. So it's very
Yeah,
very interesting.
Bukele started it, right? Bukele and down there, he was the first to make a national reserve of Bitcoin.
Yeah, but even he's not doing it quite to the extent of what Saylor was
Yeah.
saying, which is this model of, I mean, why don't you just print, like, call your central bank? Like,
Well, because yeah, I think where Bukele, what country is he from?
um,
Uh, El Salvador or something.
yeah, you know,
They can't print money because they, as far as I know, it
right,
might be wrong, but they use the U.S. dollar as their currency,
yep.
so they can't really do that. If they did, their currency would just go to shit. The only country that can really do it is the U.S. and maybe China, maybe Russia too. But
Well, there's other, yeah, other. I don't know. I think any central bank could, I don't know, yeah, do something along those lines. But you're right. The U.S. is in a pretty unique position. It's a short list. to go all the way with it. I see we're sharing books. If anybody's interested in this topic, this is a really cool book. It's actually a thesis from a graduate. I think he's from NASA, and this came out like 2 years ago. And it was about this very thing from like a national security point of view, why a nation state needs to have Bitcoin. He basically makes the case that Bitcoin is actually bit power, and once you have tokenized power, like energy, there's like a whole domino effect. So it is a very interesting coming at crypto from a different perspective way. And there was some like drama around it where he had to like, he's still in the military now, and they were like, you kind of have to like take that down or something. So he was asked to stop promoting it for a while. It was pretty heavy read.
Says it's out of. Is it out of print? Or...
I don't know if you can still get it. I got a copy before he. It's like the biggest, thickest book. It's great for making sure something won't fly away. Just if there's a tornado outside, just put that book on top of it. It'll be fine.
Right.
Yeah, Zbot knows what's up. So yeah, very interesting on that front. And you're right, we're like the 6 degrees of separation. We're just circling.
We're 1
Baron's
degree,
probably pedagogy at some point in his life. Let's be honest.
Probably, yeah. If they've been on Polygon, they might know. I mean, the Trump NFTs are there. It's interesting.
So cool. No, this time change threw me off a little bit. I usually
No, that's right.
I was like, oh, but good to see a lot of everybody, coming out. Decent numbers. It's a little lowered this week right now. I think that time change is probably part of it. But doesn't matter. We're gonna have a big Gotchiverse party here in a couple weeks. So maybe you guys probably want an update on the migration and where things at are,
Yeah.
and what we're seeing on our side. I think it's mostly steady as she goes, right? There were no big surprises this week.
Yeah, we were really pushing hard to have so there's a lot happen actually on the chain on mainnet. It's just it hasn't really been published yet. USDC is live on the chain, and you can bridge it from Polygon. You'll also be able to bridge it from Base, and we're also working on Arbitrum and a couple other places. So basically, be able to get USDC onto the chain. That's going to be really nice. And the Polygon to Geist bridge is functional. It's not. There's some automation stuff that we need to set up before we were really trying to do a Geist encounter with that this week, and get people to start bridging over from Polygon. But it's not. It wouldn't have been a great experience, or it would have been initially, but we need some rebalancing and get that set up. So that is very close. We also are very close. We were testing Aavegotchi, the final bridging of Aavegotchis from base Sepolia over to Polter, and getting all the bridging set up for that. So the NFT bridge is very close to being done. And let's see. Also, just we got the contracts for a couple different things like multi-call. There's a couple different contracts that we needed to get deployed for things like Camelot. So Camelot they had a couple prerequisites, including they needed wrapped ghost. So wrapped ghost, W ghost, like W ETH, is also on the chain now on Geist. Again, there's nothing really to do with it yet, but that's going to change very quickly once Camelot launches. So that was another prerequisite for Camelot. And then finally, the Alchemica for the upcoming Gotchi points that we're going to be announcing soon. That is also being bridged over from Polygon over to Geist. So there's a ton of very technical stuff that we are still like getting up, but this is why we launched the chain. So like we none of this was live in October. It was all in kind of testing phase, but it's going live piece by piece, and it's just going to lead up to actual releases of new products that we can have. But there's like a ton of very technical prerequisites. Did you add Geist to WagMe Git repo? It's on my list. I think that's one of the ones that had there's another prerequisite a lot of these different repos have called VM, VIEM. And we had to get multi-call deployed on the chain before we could do that. So once we have that, things like looper.dev will work. Probably things like WagMe will work, and yeah, just increasing the visibility of the chain as we prepare for a new product to go live. Yep, yeah, VM. That's the other big one. We already got the chains library. That's another big one. We got that actually before we launched, and then VM is the other one that we're working on right now. So no blockers, just we finally got multi-call deployed, and just need to make the PR now. So very busy. Also working right now on just final changes that are gonna go live with like the bazaar and getting the bazaar live. So we'll have our trading live. We'll have Aavegotchis, wearables. Everything is coming this month. It's a very busy month.
That's super cool. So I think Socket people are, a little concerned about the UX with bridging and things, but ultimately the team at Socket is, I think,
Oh yeah,
good.
Socket's
Been great
great.
to work with. Yeah.
Yeah, they also recently released this new bungee. I don't know if has anyone used it yet. I think this is the link.
They when we did the spaces with them, they were really excited about the bungee. They're like, we haven't told anybody about this. It's coming very soon. So
Yeah,
big upgrade.
so because we're powered with them, I think there's a very strong chance we'll be able to get if not Ghost. Like Ghost is a weird token because it's our gas token, and it's our native bridge is from base to Geist, but because going from Polygon, we can't directly just mint the native gas token on the chain. So we have to mint this other token called S-Ghost, which you guys will find out once we put the bridge live. We mint S-Ghost, and then you got to unwrap the S. It generally will happen automatically, but if there's not enough native Ghost in the S-Ghost contract, it kind of just stays there in S-Ghost, and you have to unwrap it manually. So that's what we're trying to patch and get some automation set up for. But things like Socket will be able to tap into that, and you'll be able to go to like Bungee, I think, and just be able to bridge between multiple chains. So you'll be able to go between like Arbitrum, the base to Geist chain, and Polygon to Geist. And then for tokens like USDC, this is where it actually becomes even more powerful. You can just go directly from you'll be able to go from almost any chain directly to Geist using Bungee. Gas.zip supports Geist. Oh, cool. That's pretty sick. What is that? What is gas.zip? Is that like a refuel service? Cute little UI. So yeah, tons of just chain related stuff in the works. Still happy that we got the chain up, because otherwise we would just be like deployment and testing takes a lot of time. So it's just nice that the chain is up, even though there's not still a whole lot to do. But that's going to change soon. It's just nice that we're able to deploy stuff and get stuff in different repos all around the internet, and people can like start plugging into it.
Yeah, I'm just excited to have some USDC running around on Geist. That's cool. Start bringing in more coins. With Socket,
Yeah.
we get the Alchemica and the glitter support as well. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah. We're using Socket. You'll be able to go from Polygon to Geist. You can also go from Polygon to Base, but I don't think anyone. We're gonna just kind of stop supporting that. Like it'll still work, but not something we're really focused on because you'll be able to just go from like it'll be on Geist now. So people just if they want to buy Alchemica, they'll just be able to go onto Camelot.
Yeah, Camelot decks.
Actually, I have a question for you. I'm still channeling with one of my gotchis and emptying the farm, but I never claim the rewards. I'm just letting it stack up in the rental
Mm.
that I have from my ledger to my hot wallet. Will I have to, I guess, claim those rewards? I mean, the Alchemica before I bridge the gotchi in order to get it?
Um, with yeah, I would say if you have any tokens in your gotchi, you should claim them before you bridge it. Like if it's a borrowed gotcha, you should probably claim it before you bridge it. You're not going to be able to bridge it if it's borrowed also. So you can't transfer it.
Gotchi's got to be ready on all fronts.
Speaking of channeling, Golden Cross, you guys got any work in progress stuff? You guys have been cooking hard
Yeah.
on the Gotchiverse. We were doing some play tests this week actually, and it was super smooth. The team has really pulled a lot together, and now
Yeah.
you got your initial release working on that, and then the farming release upcoming as well to get that live.
Yeah, we I think last week or so I haven't had any new images or any visual updates to really share. And part of that is it's been really just about stabilizing the build for the last couple weeks and making sure it can perform, you know, at its best all the time. So adding more servers, but that's the easy part. It was more like figuring out why certain bugs were happening and like animations would suddenly go wacky, that kind of stuff, lag, typical stuff. Work through it all. Um, just really, really cool. So very happy to say, yeah, that the play tests they always start rough, and then you got to work through it for X amount of time. And when you get to the other side, it's worth it. That's where we are now. It's running super smooth. Um, and we're discussing we'll probably need to have one community playtest, at least one prior to the actual launch party. And we want to do that launch party to celebrate the bridge opening for Gotchis to come over to Geist. So once we have a date for when we want to deploy that, we can also launch the Gotchiverse launch party, schedule that. Most likely, I think, Dan, we were saying safely, it's probably the end of the month. Not given an official date yet, but from a perspective of the first build and all the work that needed to be done, we're really close. So most of the team, half the team, is now working on build mode, and yeah, maybe I can share a couple of screenshots of that. It's looking really good. I'll work my way from the back. Here's some visuals to accompany this conversation. One thing we did while we're busy, like, doing all this testing, design was able to return and do another pass on the HUD. So it's way more. We learned through the play tests, like it wasn't quite intuitive enough for first time visitors, and that there was no, like, there's all these hotkeys on the keyboard, but if you're not like in the Discord hearing me say, hit the M key to mute the music, um, it's not very convenient. And so now it's much more convenient if we get people coming in through a browser link on socials and just spawning in the Gotchiverse. They don't need a handbook necessarily. They can do all the basics with their everything on screen telling them exactly what buttons they need to know. So pretty straightforward stuff, but I think it'll make a big difference because the original HUD design just simply didn't have that, and you just didn't know. Like, I don't know where I go to do the dance animation or to trigger the radial that has more stickers and animations, that kind of stuff. So yeah, the HUD is, I think, much more intuitive now. Actually, the M for music hotkey wasn't even a thing. You had to go into the settings and drill downs. But I think when you're like, especially I'm thinking ahead to our Discord party, sometimes you want the music and then somebody's talking and you just want to mute it immediately. So I think having that toggle will be, yeah, a very, very nice to have kind of upgrade. Let me see. In terms of maybe some stuff about land management, we're already working on build mode. And I'll just say one thing for sure is like we're thinking of feature parity with our farming experience in 2D, but for this first release, it's a bit MVP-ish, but at the same time, if there's something we can improve right away, we want to do it from the start. One of those would be like for power users, if you own multiple parcels, it's going to get easier for you to manage your multiple farming operations. So that's really going to be nice. There's some nice UI with drop downs where you can kind of go. Basically, the flow is you as a gotchi visit one parcel you own, and then you can access all the parcels you own and manage them all from your
Yeah, there we
favorite
go.
desk or parcel. Yeah, because that's a big deal, right? For a lot of probably people on this call too. You own multiple property throughout the Gotchiverse, so it's going to be a pretty smooth experience. See if I can find some pictures of that UI. But yeah, Dan, you were on that call with we were working through that together on like this build mode kind of design plan. And did anything stand out to you, or um, as a power farmer yourself?
Just yeah, I think the request was that we've heard a lot in the chat. Like, can we make it so just claiming and like building is, it can just simplify that. So that's what this we want to lean into that and reducing the amount of clicks that people have to do. So you can, basically keep the game on throughout the day and
Yeah.
just be chilling in the Gotchiverse, get notifications and stuff when your farm is ready or stuff like that, or someone's chatting with you. And the idea is that you handle your farming, a couple clicks, it's basically done, and then you can spend more time doing what you want to do in the Gotchiverse.
Yeah,
So yeah, I
totally.
think the blueprint thing that you guys have, like the build mode, is going to be a nice improvement. Being able to just kind of swipe between, cycle between your different parcels, and manage what you want to manage, and then get back into the game.
Yeah, and that's in a Figma somewhere, so I'd love to share it. I've got to dig it out. It's not floating around, but if you guys want, I'll go do that and bring it back. It's pretty cool. The build mode is like you're in 3D, all that, and then boom, you're in more of a nice, clean, very menu-y, static scenario where it's very clean for moving your chess pieces around. Is like literally a blueprint. Um, so yeah, let me go find that.
See
Quick
material
question
talking
while you
about.
find that. Will
Yeah,
controller
go ahead.
support be ready for the Gotchiverse when it launches?
It has not been a priority. It's a very browser-based, you're on your keyboard experience that's being prioritized. That said, technically with Spirit Force, there is support, but in terms of like mapping all the hotkeys, a lot of them are accessible through the UI, but there's definitely some functionality that is not baked into the controllers, and probably won't be doing a pass on that before we have our first dance party. But yeah, that's something like over time we want to keep improving, and I like playing with a controller myself. But the metaverse, yeah, we're using a lot of hotkeys. It's like you can be once you learn it, you can like really express yourself with your gotchi, but you need to have all these quick like little hotkeys available. And I think the difference, one thing like very simple change that made it a lot more fun this week was the animations you can trigger. They used to just play once and then immediately stop. and it was way too short. It was like a 3-second animation or even less. But now they loop, and you can even walk around while the animation is triggered, or you can fly around while the animation is triggered. And so you can express yourself in more and more ways. And yeah, how much of that we can bake into a game controller, it'll take a little bit of time. But technically, I guess, yes, you can use it. So, and then let's see, on the Guardians front, I think we're going to see something new from Slama's team again here on Geist this month. So
Yep.
that's still the other big part of this release window is Guardians deploying and using Geist.
Yeah, I see Augie's question about getting the skin. Just responded in there. As far as I know, you just log in with the wallet that has your Geist account into Gotchi Guardians. You don't. I don't think you have to unlock the pirate. Obviously, if you want to play as it, then you'll need to unlock the pirate. But if you just want to get the skin, we will be minting those on chain around the time that Guardians has its new release, and we're planning to have the bazaar live around that time as well. So that's gonna be pretty cool. This will be our first skin that's actually minted on chain and available for trading in the bazaar. And I think looking at the numbers so far, it's gonna be pretty rare. So if you haven't already, go into Gotcha Guardians and claim that skin as a Geist member. I think it ends on the 21st, I believe.
Yeah, it feels like it's a long ways off, but you don't want to put something like that off. It's going to be a really rare one, and it's so cool how it's on chain. It's one of those things that's just there for the taking right now.
We should do a PSA next week and let everyone know about that. But that'll be the first of many skins. Guardians has a ton of different aesthetics in the game. From anything from like map skins to towers, liquidators, all the different like units. They're putting a lot of effort into the game, obviously, but also into the showing off, kind of the flexing aspect of, because it is kind of a game where you can see what other people are summoning, and also as the host of the game, like you can kind of flex on other people. That's going to be a fun aspect of Guardians. Is it easy to create your own 3D skins? Any framework for that? I mean, I wouldn't say it's like super hard, but the final update of the SDK should not be too far off. Now that we've finally solved the client ID issue that we had with Third Web, so we're trying to get that SDK open sourced, and then yeah, I think we can start opening and experimenting with opening the floodgates. And if anyone has some Blender or like 3D skills, could be cool to do some contests and stuff around Gotchi skins.
Yeah, nice. And we do want more UGC like that in the Gotchiverse eventually. I'd love to see some templates. We actually have one of the guys who used to work at Decentraland for this exact purpose, for user generated content at DCL. And so it's definitely in his wheelhouse of expertise. And he's been tasked with designing these documents for standardizing and making templates of, if we were to let you submit your own 3D objects to be minted or included in the Gotchiverse, like what would that flow look like, and what would the rules of the road be? And so he's the perfect guy for that job. I just dropped a picture. This is a work and probably quick mock-up of how the build mode will work. But if you are standing on a parcel you own, like in this marked up image, you will get a little build icon that appears. You click the build or the hotkey, and then it says, do you want to craft? Or we're probably going to update that. Do you want to manage? So you either manage that parcel or manage your parcel, or you're going to craft new items. And then, yeah, once you get there, let's jump to what manage looks like. That's the really fascinating one. And this is like really early work in progress. I mean, in the sense that we want feedback from you guys. So like showing this stuff. This is yeah, literally a blueprint. Might look and have that vibe of the Licky's blueprints to some extent. But yeah, imagine this. This is a spacious parcel on its side. You can collapse the sidebar that's kind of covering part of your parcel. And then you can start placing your items in a very clean, static environment and then equip it. And then there's a drop down. You can move to your other parcels quickly. We might add a few more ways for you to like scroll through your parcels, like at the click of a button, just turn the page. And yeah, like also sort all your different items that could be placed on your parcel. So that's the progress on that front. Pretty excited about it.
Nice.
Yeah.
The picture of the FOMO harvester at the bottom right there, those are like kind of new pictures. I haven't really seen them before.
Yeah, so we set up like the 3D artists, they got like a script, you know, they can take a picture, kind of automated a script where they can take a picture of every asset that happens. So we'll have it's not so manual. They've got the lighting, everything set up really clean.
Nice.
So that's that side view for each asset produced. And then we're discussing like if we go with this design, then they'll also have a script with like a top-down view of every asset that has to be taken from the same exact angle every time, so that we can do the placement just like it's mocked up here. So we will see. We will see what the final design is, but this is a look at where it's at right now. I think from a functionality point of view, it's all there and a little easier on the eyes than the old designs, to say the least. Okay, and material coming with suggestions. Empty all parcels function. I think this is what we touched on briefly, which is like to make that contract call, like you kind of have to go at least parcel by parcel, right? Even if you don't travel around, or maybe we can do an empty all. Look
Yeah,
into
I think everyone kind of wants that. Be able to.
that.
We were saying in the call, if you're as long as you're in the game, you should be able to kind of empty your parcels without having to go like one by one. Would be
Yeah,
nice.
gonna have to have a select all.
If that's what people
Ooh,
want. I mean, we want to make it like I would rather have people spending more time playing around in the game than like having to just click click for the fun of clicking.
totally. Yeah, Phantasma asking about spillover. What would you like to see with spillover? Because I feel like from a gameplay perspective, spillover actually has a really good opportunity to be way more of a true like competitive gameplay element than it was in the original release. So if we were to bring back spillover in a big way, it becomes a game in and of itself, like it was originally envisioned. Now that we're in Unity, it can be like, oh, Dan's about to, he's managing his parcel. He's online. I can see he's online. I'm gonna go find his parcel and like try to capture some of that spillover, and it can actually become a bit competitive in that sense. Whereas we never had enough functionality on the 2D phaser build to really do anything interesting with that. So that's one way we're thinking about it. Is you are competing to pick up stuff in real time. It could be pretty. There's a lot of room to make a game out of that.
Also, we're in 3D now, so you could uh, theoretically like shoot it into the air and have people flying around collecting it instead of walking on the ground.
Yep. Yeah, we got volume now. People want to run like Sonic and pick it up. Yeah, I mean, it's as old as time, right? Pick up the coins. So this is our on-chain version of that. Yeah, Chonya, what you described, I guess we want a little bit of that, right? Says I remember the days of my spillover getting sniped. And then that farting emoji, somebody just shooting that at him as they take away his Alchemica. Good times. Yeah, Thrax brings up a point which we have to work through, but with Spirit Force being like so closely knit with Gotchiverse, we had melee and range, attacks up until basically the last 10 days inside of the Gotchiverse. And yeah, you couldn't die. We had infinite health bars on, all that, but you could still like fire off shots and stuff. But we actually realized that was having a huge impact on performance for the WebGL build and the browser-based stuff. So the moment we just removed that code from the game at all, things got a lot smoother. It was not the only, but one of the big things that had to be adjusted these last few days. And we'll find a way to bring it back in when the time's right. But for the launch party, and as of right now, we've got a really good stable build, and you'll still have an animation to like swing your sword and stuff probably, but we're not going to have gunfire or anything like that yet. That said, I think you're right. If you could like have spillover and then people are attacking you with their great like godlike weapons and stuff, and you're like just trying to get out with as many Alchemica as you can, then it becomes a game. Then it's a game of tag and hide and seek all rolled into one. So yeah, there's a couple cool ways to spice that up. Reading the comments here.
Yeah, you guys have like a little water cannon that you were working on before, or fireworks or something like that.
Yeah,
To
sometimes you just want to give your Alchemica away too. It doesn't always have to be a competition. So you could like throw a party, say I'm gonna take, you know, whatever, $10 worth of Alchemica or $1 worth of Alchemica and fire it into the air. You package it in a craft up some fireworks real quick and it disperses your Alchemica in a unique way. We're already working on it. We've got like these visual effects in the dance hall that are fireworks. They're just not dropping Alchemica yet, but they're kind of like pixelated looking 3D fireworks that honestly we just need to connect it to some meaning and it could work. Join just got the idea. That's what we need. That's our spillover. Pew pew. I like it. Let's show this gift to the team. Blow everything up.
right. Well, that could be the altar. It could just be like shooting out of the altar too.
Right? Oh yeah, because for channeling. Yeah.
Yeah.
The altar could just be like going haywire.
So if you were doing your emptying your reservoirs and you do like a batch claim of the reservoir, just the I think that we can allow that and do that, but if you want to grab your if spillover is like re-enabled in the future, you'd still need to be on the parcel if you wanted to grab the spillover. So it's kind of like a middle ground.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is at odds with the idea of like push a button, farm 50 parcels at the same time. Like you can, but
You can do it. Yeah, just let people know that it's happening, and it could be also kind of interesting event.
yeah, totally. And then I saw a couple messages about this estate. So going
Yeah.
back to the original light paper, um, yeah, estates would be cool. I think as we're learning and like work, like how quick can we ship a feature we were shipping feature work pretty fast. It was kind of like not 100% done, or it was done, but it was built on this kind of unstable build, so you couldn't really enjoy it or get a sense of the game feel yet. And it's really only recent where the build's been stable enough where we can return to feature work and really start adding in a lot of fun detail and little effects and things to do. Um, so so things like the estate, we can also start to think about how that could work, and it's probably very
The
doable.
estates are interesting because now we're in 3D, and like anyone can fly into your parcel. There's walls are gonna mean a little bit different. Uh, like if you have a parcel surrounded by walls, we'll have to we'll have to have some sort of dome around it to be able to like prevent people from just dropping in, or liquidators from dropping in. Yeah, like if you've surrounded your parcel, it kind of links together and you've walled it off, or if estates in the future, if you've walled it off with walls, it should create like a force field around it to prevent the licks, and if you're channeling to capture that spillover in there. I think that would make sense.
I'll share one last piece here and then cover anything you guys want. But the UI for the nice shots, I don't know if I've shared this before. So after you take a photo, this is the accept reject the photo you just took modal. Just yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty sweet. And somebody
Perfect,
was
except
asking about.
should be friend maybe.
I know, I know. What do you guys think? Should we update that to friend? There's like a debate between readability and like people are like, what? I saw feedback on the landing page about hello instead of hello. Like,
Oh gosh. Think we like the friends.
right. So that's come together really good. The last kind of weird UX with that was once you started the photo taking process, there was no way to back out except you had to take a photo. Oh, here's Zbot. He did the team-wide playtest. He dove right in. He's showing you exactly how to do it.
Well, how did you how did you get that? That's crazy.
He
What
spent
is
some time in the verse. Zbot's all in.
that?
Ever since he got keys to the kingdom, he's been flying around there all
Holy
week.
shit.
So yeah, there's lots of little Easter eggs and cool places to check out. He's enjoying it. Yeah, he's over by Raffle Pond. Looks like.
Is that actually a
Uh,
raffle in the like what?
it's a
Oh,
it's a,
it's
it's
like
like
a
a sign.
cattail.
It's like
Oh no,
letting you know
okay.
you're in Raffle Zone, like a Raffle crossing.
Okay. Rex says favorite thing right now is flying at max speed. Yeah, dude, the flying is really fast right now. I think we're gonna nerf that, but it's pretty fun. Like you can cover the entire area in a few seconds, right? Kind of OP.
It's
It's really
pretty ridiculous.
fun.
It's just for the
You get on a
devs to get
road.
around quickly. And
Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't really make sense right now. Vax got to go on a team build, and it's super
I
OP.
mean, that would be a good item to be able to like double your flight speed for temporarily. Just fly around.
Yeah,
Feels good. So yeah, you guys have made a lot of progress. Really fixing all the like technical uh, rate limiting, and I mean I'm in like China behind a firewall, and it feels like it's pretty smooth. So kudos to the team for getting that done. Can't wait till we can get those NPCs in too. That's I don't
Oh
know if we'll
yeah.
have that in the first build, or is that coming right after? Get some
Uh, I think
get a greeting from Farmer Ralph.
yeah, I think we're gonna meet some gotchis. I think so.
Nice. Oh
Oh, Z-Bot cruising around.
yeah.
Z-Bot, you're gonna tease everybody. break hearts over here. But yeah, it's going very well. I'm more excited about having the bazaar and this like more just seeing new items entering the bazaar. It's gonna be
Yeah.
so weird. Like, and it's gonna accelerate where you're like probably week to week, like new things are getting added. I mean, eventually, like that's where it's going. So the bazaar is gonna kind of enter a whole new era on Geist.
It's we're
That's like just one last shout out for the Guardian skin. Everybody needs to
mhm.
download Guardians and grab that because that will trade in the bazaar, right? And a new Guardians category.
That's gonna be Guardians, the Guardian skins collection. That's gonna be the first skin in Guardians collection. So yeah, it could be a pretty significant collector's value, and if you get it before the 21st, it's free if you've claimed your Geist ID already. Or I think if not, it's like 10 Ghost. Yeah, Augie, I mean, that's the kind of the point here. Other projects, items on Bazaar, and utilization of Ghost Chain. We're going to start with our own slew of games here. And, we're going to build what we're building for our community and what we need. But I do think there'll be other communities that see what we're building and like, oh man, actually, like Geist is pretty dope. But even if that doesn't happen, we're still going to have multiple game titles, each creating their own pieces of unique content. There's nothing else really like it in crypto right now. And it's all the same IP. That's what makes Aavegotchi and our whole ecosystem unique. Like we're literally maybe Axie, but even on like Ronin is all sorts of games. But for Geist, we're really emphasizing like you should be doing something with the Aavegotchi ecosystem if you're on Geist. So I think it's a very unique value prop for people, just like indie game devs that want to build for a community are going to have a great place to build for.
Final note here. Look at the tweet you sent out after that last playtest, or one of the playtests. Look at me, Ma, in the Gotchiverse.
Cider Dan Parkway.
That had to catch you off guard. You were not expecting the Cider
No,
Dan
I was
street.
not. Is that the only street right now?
Yeah. Right now all the streets are Cider Dan.
Nice.
That was the placeholder.
Right,
There's gonna be a
I
lot.
was flying around. I'm like, am I on the same street?
Yeah, you might think you're going crazy, but no, there's a bunch more. But yeah, right now it's all Cider Dan everywhere.
Yeah,
All roads lead to Dan.
everything is Dan. Yeah, the only
I was gonna
Dan's
say
list.
if I can get Chwing is I think he's keeping the list, right? It could all be different variants of nicknames.
No, I'm not that much of a narcissist.
That'd be too much. It was all cider after all. Maybe that's a skin. You can apply an only Dan skin to D1
Right.
if you want to play it there. Funny. All right. Well,
Cool.
hope everybody has a
Well,
great weekend.
yeah, we're going to the Dow call here, but expect some new stuff coming out next week. Team is working as hard as we can to get this chain migration underway, and yeah, so just stay tuned check the Geist announcements and keep doing those encounters and get the Gotchi Guardian skin.